we talked with Chris a little bit about how he makes sure that the inventory is correct on the truck. And that's a really important thing because, yeah, it's one thing to have all this stuff on there, but what if you use it? What happens next? You have to make sure that it goes back onto the truck. Now, one of the processes that Chris was talking about using is the fact that every day at the end of that day, his technicians have already made a note of whatever's been used. They will take that note and either come back to the shop and go off of that note to decide what needs to happen, or what they'll do is they'll take that note or they'll just know off the top of their head. They'll come back before the end of the day. They'll make sure that they pull whatever they need that needs to be refilled on the truck. Now, again, what works really well about this is that they're not pulling for every job out of their truck because they've already quoted that job for whatever purpose it is. So because of that, what they're doing is they're ensuring that the truck has most of what it needs because they've already quoted that in the job, so that's in addition to what's already there. What they'll do instead is that if they need to pull something from the truck, they'll make that note, come back to the shop at the end of the day, go back over here to this section. It actually continues on down that way, and they'll say, okay, well, we had to use an MHX 3-meter cable.
From the top left, though.
Oh, where did I pull that from? I think I pulled it from there, right?
Yeah. Top left is the oldest, first to go out.
Oldest, first to go out. So
top left on the MHX HDMI 3, straight
got
up, two times. One more.
There you go, right there. So this is the oldest, right? So you actually cycle through. You do first in, first out.
Absolutely.
Very fantastic. So make sure that, yeah, this is really good stuff for everybody out there to maintain. First in, first out is really important. Let's be honest, our cables don't really change. The packaging does, and that's something that's important also to maintain, because you could be pulling from something that's an older stock item, or you could be pulling from a newer stock item, using that, and then when you come back, now you have older stock item that is maybe showing an 18 gig instead of a 48 gig label on it. And so in that case, you could be throwing something off. And now in most cases, probably the MHX, the client may not see the packaging per se, but what if they do? That's one of those things where what if they do see it, oh, it only says 18 gigs, what are you doing? I thought I needed 48 gigs. Or whatever else it is.
I had somebody question a T3260 because we were putting a 65 on it. I know that the weight will support, it'll support the weight of a 65, but I had a client say, oh no, that only says that it'll do up to a 60-inch TV.
Which is why we took part model inches off the boxes, because in the early days, TVs are so darn heavy that we actually put, okay, it's a 32 to 48 or whatever, but yeah, we switched the VESA patterns for that reason.
Yeah. Now, what you don't see over here, and actually it's off camera just a little bit, and I'm going to take a picture of it and put it on Instagram, because over on that side, we were talking earlier about the fact that he has inventory of Marantz, and maybe I shouldn't show this or not, because some guys are going to be really jealous and really upset about it, but he has enough inventory that I think you could handle probably 3 or 4 other dealers out there and what they need to get some jobs done. So, and it's not to say that you're hoarding or anything. You just put yourself in a really good position.
Everything's dated. If you want to see when it was purchased, the purchase dates are on every single one of those boxes.
That's fantastic.
Wow.
Now something like that, and that's good. That's good practice as well to know when it came in.
I'm going to ask you a question: is that you or your wife handling all that?
That's me handling every bit of the labeling.
That's awesome.
And I label them so that my guys can easily identify, okay, if there's a bunch of 5015s next to a bunch of 6015s, they can see, okay, well, on these 5015s, it was, say, January 21st, 2022. They know where to go to pull from, because some of the rotations here change depending on if you pull from the left, you pull from the right, but if they're dated, which it only takes 2 seconds, if you're getting 4 receivers in, it takes you maybe 20 seconds to write the date on them, they'll always know which one to pull. And if you order 4 and 2 of them come one day and then 2 come another, but they're 4 or 5 days apart, it's important so that you can see. But as you look at them, you'll notice that none of that equipment's been sitting here. It's all been moving constantly.
Yeah, and you've just created that relationship with your suppliers to be able to have that.
It's almost automated. Where if they see 4 shipped, they order me 4 more.
Yeah, just keep it going, basically. That's very cool. So guys, I think at this point, just showing this off is really important, because there's so much here to put into practice in your own locations, in your own shop, in your own truck. Lots of this stuff is just important to have for yourselves, and just have it ready and good to go on your end.